Hi there, Aquarius. Welcome to your February 2024 general tarot reading. You'll be honored to know that you're the first one that I'm breaking in my new Morgan Greer tarot deck. I had the full-sized version. These are the mini cards. I finally lost one, and so I decided to get another deck, but try it with the mini. Probably be more visible on screen and just put in that little tin. So anyway, I think it's going to be a memorable month for you because it is a lot of your birthday month. A lot of you have your birthday month here. And just, Pluto going into your sign, that in January, that is amazing. Pick an additional card because this is twos are very, it's funny, I picked two things together. I'm going to pick even another card too. Since this is your birthday month, why not? Okay. Pick a couple of cards. Okay. Now, the card in the middle, or the first card that I picked, it's really not in the middle, but in the center, well, whatever, is the heart of the matter. And this is the Eight of Swords. You are swords. So anybody who is air sign can be at the central theme of this reading. So whether it's talking about yourself and what you're up to, whether it's a Libra individual or a Gemini or a fellow Aquarian, it could be another sign that's an air sign. But it's also what it represents in and of itself is this idea of how we hold ourselves back. The reason that the swords are tied with the air signs is because they deal with communication and thoughts. So, if we even take in the number 8 and we look at it in terms of astrological influences, that's connected to Scorpio. And Scorpio, the 8th house represents the shadow self. And so those thoughts could be things that you've been trying. I really think a lot of times that they're actually programming that has been projected, the shadows that are projected from others. Actually, that's what projections are. It's other people's shadows that they're projecting onto other people and, accusing them of possessing those qualities. But I also think that, especially with a sign like Aquarius, that this could relate. I think it can be even the thoughts that you try to suppress and that you don't want to acknowledge because they go against that ability to stay above the fray, that the air signs that don't want to get heavy, don't want to get emotionally weighed down. So that could be something that some of you are struggling with. I would say, especially when it comes to what is holding you back. Or if there is a person who has strong air emphasis, who is holding you back in some way. And maybe we have here in the past position, the Ace of Pentacles. This can be a new job offer. This can be a windfall of money. And this is actually a good thing. This is like, aces are the beginnings of things. But it's kind of like wherever you go, there you are. So even if you get money or a new job, you bring yourself to that new situation. And you can't really escape. You think, oh, well, this is going to make me happy or that's going to make me happy. And it might even be a situation where you want to have a new job, but you feel trapped. There's a feeling of being trapped with the Eight of Swords, but who is limiting themselves. Who holds the key to their freedom? You do. It's not outside of yourself. The card that represents the higher message is the Three of Pentacles. Now, I could even see that there could be a three-party situation involved. With the newness of the Ace of Pentacles, it's possible that you have met someone and now you feel trapped because you might feel a loyalty to a marriage or committed partnership, and yet you don't want to be there, and you're more interested in this other person. Usually pentacles would not be your cup of tea necessarily in terms of love interest, if this is actually related to the earth signs, because they tend to be very, grounded, but you're kind of like out there. So fire signs and other air signs are more your speed, but there are going to be exceptions to that. And it might be a situation where you've been with too much drama with a relationship, that you're looking for something more permanent and more stable. But you feel trapped sometimes. And that's why I was saying being trapped by the mind, because sometimes we tell ourselves things like, oh, you have to be loyal. If you say you're going to, be married to somebody, you can't renege on that. That's a lifetime commitment, because that's the kind of conditioning that a lot of people experience or receive. And it's up to all of us to kind of like question this indoctrination to see if it's real. Does it really make somebody a bad person if they don't feel that they're compatible with somebody anymore? If they're very sensitive about it and they, are very open about it. But the unfortunate thing is that sometimes it takes an affair or falling in love with somebody else to push somebody to actually do that, when maybe they had already been feeling dissatisfied for months or years. So it complicates things, because then it does make them look like, oh, wow, they're cheating or they're a bad person. Well, crosses use the Six of Pentacles. This is a card of equal energy exchange. So it could be saying to you, you might feel like you don't know whether you should do something in particular. And this could also involve leaving a job. I mean, the question to ask yourself is, am I receiving in kind the kind of energy that I'm putting out? On the job, are you receiving appropriate compensation, or are you receiving less than you deserve? And why do you accept it? Sometimes people accept it because they either feel that they don't deserve more, or they feel this loyalty to the employer, which is fine. Loyalty is fine as long as it doesn't shortchange yourself on a regular basis. So that's kind of like in same with relationships. Are you putting into relationships and the other person is like, you have to chase them down, or, it doesn't feel like they want to be there. Now that doesn't sound like the typical Aquarius chasing somebody down, but stranger things have happened. Obviously this is not an astrological reading. Some Aquarians have the moon in Cancer. They might have Venus in Pisces, so they might have a lot of parts of themselves that want to be committed to someone. Not all Aquarians are those textbook King of Swords types. Okay, so the card that is coming up for what is coming in, the energy coming in, is the Ace of Wands, and this is very exciting, fresh, new energy. It can be like an affair or some kind of a fling. So it could be a passionate dalliance with someone. But other than that, I can think of someone who is has a passion project and something that you are just really gung ho about. That's what the Ace of Wands represents. So, the interesting thing about this spread is that there are cards that suggest feelings of indecision and blockages, but there are also cards that show that great things are happening for you. And that makes a lot of sense in terms of even astrologically, having Pluto in your sign. I think you're going to have those times where the Eight of Swords rears its head, where you have to um, purify some of the things that have been festering, have been beneath the surface, and yet at the same time, it can give you a lot of power in terms of how you navigate your life. So then I had as an outcome, and the reason I picked additional cards is because when I get like a two, that it can suggest indecision, and I don't like to leave it hanging, reading hanging. So the Two of Wands is the outcome. One of the viewers pointed out to me that if you look at the wands, there's another hand. Like I didn't even notice this. That there are two hands. The person, I guess it's a man, has these kind of purplish gloved hands, and you can see both of them. And one of them is holding a globe, which indicates the possibility of even relocating to a new place. But there's another hand there. So what does that represent? Now, this is not, I do not believe that this is faithful to the Rider Waite in terms of the imagery on that. I'll have to double check that, but I don't think they have something like that. And so it's very interesting. I'm going to be doing tarot tutorials, and I'm going to be exploring each of the cards, but I'm going to start with the major arcana, so I won't get to the Two of Wands for a while. And these are the kind of things, by comparing decks, that we can see the artist's renditions of these cards and why they may have chosen certain images over others. I wish they would, in their little booklets, rather than just give the typical, you know, definitions of the cards or whatever you want to, interpretations of the cards, is that they would discuss why they chose certain images, what they symbolize to the artist and to the creator of the deck. Sometimes the artist is not the creator of the deck. So anyway, this can suggest that there is someone else that you have to think of, whatever your decision is. You can't just like be thinking about yourself. So, you know, it's a no-brainer that if you are deciding between two people, that you might feel this sense of, you know, being torn because you don't want to hurt your partner. I feel like if this is a relationship issue, and actually this could also be, and good, this might actually be relevant for anybody who is, you know, in a quandary about their career, because the Two of Wands can be like deciding between two careers, but I feel like it can be deciding whether or not to stay or go with this particular job. And what might be actually making you feel oppressed, like the Eight of Swords, is maybe it pays very well. If it's a relationship, maybe your partner is a very stabilizing influence. But you don't feel passion for that person. Now, Aquarians feeling passion, it's not that Aquarians necessarily get like that. Some of you might have the moon in Leo, let's say, or something like that. But in general, it's not so much that the person has to live life, you know, in this heightened state, but I'm talking about feeling that the other person is inspiring you, is, you know, creating growth. Because the Wands, or we could say the fire element, is all about expansion. And when you're in a relationship with someone and they rub off on you in a positive way and they kind of have this um, effect on you that that pushes you to expand yourself, that can be very good, because it you know, according to Abraham Hicks, that's the meaning of life, is expansion. And I resonate with that, maybe because I'm a fire sign, I'm a Sag, but I think that that's just very true, is that, you know, you either grow or you die. You know, stagnancy is a decay, really, if you think about it. And that doesn't mean you have to always be doing new things, but that but even within relationship, that there's always new levels to explore with the other person. So if you feel like you're just in this thing, like the pentacles can be, it feels safe. It feels, you know, especially if you grew up in an environment that was kind of unpredictable or chaotic, even though you're an Aquarius, you're a fixed sign. There's such a contrarian element of Aquarius. So you may have gravitated towards someone earlier on in your life because they felt very stable to you, and it was such a relief to be around someone that was less all over the place. But on the flip side, or maybe since you've grown yourself, you realize that it's not good enough, that you have to, it's no longer enough for you. So it's a very interesting dilemma. It can be about like physical relocation as well. Um, and maybe the thing that you're doing doesn't, it pays well, but it doesn't feel like it's stimulating to you, that it's giving you what you're looking for. So I picked some additional cards that connect with this outcome card. And I'm going to just, it doesn't matter how I read them, but we have the Seven of Swords, and this can be a card of cheating or stealing. Now, it could be cheating on one's spouse. It can be theft. And this can be somebody doing it to you. And one of the things, I mean, besides the obvious, if this is happening, if you're the one doing it, but other than that, if you're in, let's say you're in an unhappy relationship, you may be worried about, oh, I don't want to cheat on my partner. They might be cheating on you because they're unhappy too. So the point is that it's not about, whether or not you're hurting somebody. You could be hurting someone by not giving them their freedom so that they can find somebody who is really committed to them, and they're really committed to that person. You know, there's so many ways to look at something. And we have the Two of Swords. If you have to decide between two people, or two, like if you've gotten a job offer and you're like, oh, gee, I don't know what to do. It could be that neither job offer is really what is appropriate for you, or either person that you're choosing from. It might be that neither one is really for you, and you're like so indecisive about it that you're not realizing that it's just not for you. And it's also, to me, you know, like with the blindfold. Oh, here's my magic wand that I have now. I think this is your birthstone, amethyst, because I'm going to use this for my tutorial. And the blindfold that this person has can symbolize, and also, by the way, you see the moon is the idea of deception and self-deception, with the blindfold specifically, is like, how are you keeping yourself in a situation by claiming you don't know what to do, by claiming you have two valid choices to choose from. And then we have, I don't know if I rearranged this. I think I did. No, I did get the Three of Wands last. So we have a lot of wands here. The Nine of Wands is a card of boundaries, but it can also be anticipating that somebody is going to breach those boundaries. Sometimes I see the Eight of Swords as being in an oppressive relationship with someone, maybe with a narcissist, and trying to break free from that person, which by the way, the Seven of Swords in that context could be finding a very clever way to break free from that person where they don't know exactly what you've done. Maybe because you just move far away, or maybe this can also apply to jobs where you're with an oppressive boss who may have narcissistic tendencies and may have a tendency to be very vindictive if one of his or her employees decides to leave, that they want to destroy that person. So you find a way to kind of get out of that situation without, it coming back on you. And then the last card that I picked is the Three of Wands. And the reason that I stopped here, well, first of all, I could keep going, couldn't I? It's a very positive message about this idea of expansion. So fire, but you see like the mountains in the background. This is about really craving wider terrain. Maybe you feel pent up. Maybe that's what the Eight of Swords feels like to you, like you can't move, like you're restricted in some way and you need to kind of just roam free. And that's even like if somebody is in a oppressive marriage, for instance, and let's say they get divorced and they move away, they can, it might be very difficult emotionally. It might be very draining, but then comes that time when you finally feel that sense of freedom. That's got to feel very heady and very exciting. So it could be that you're being shoved in a box that you feel is way too small for you in some area of your life, Aquarius. During the month of February, this is a month when it's completely all systems are go for you, but for everyone. But since this is a lot of your birthday month, this is when the new moon is happening in your sign. This is the time to really think about what it is that you want to. This is like your new year. What do you want to launch? What do you want to experience in the upcoming solar cycle? Okay, so this is what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm promoting my double astrological readings because they're a package deal. It's perfect for Aquarians at this time of year because it's an hour of natal chart interpretation, which you may never have had done before, but also an hour of transits for the next 12 months. So I am now starting to go into 2025, but the rest of 2024, like what kind of things are coming up for Aquarians. And so it should be very interesting. And you can find out more information about that deal, my other readings, at the link below. I'm at rainamoonAstrology.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.